The stars looked small and distant from the command bridge of the HSS Vengeance. Commander John Blackwood stood with his hands behind his back, watching as another alien ship broke apart in the darkness of space. He didn't smile. He never smiled, anymore. "Target destroyed, Commander," said Lieutenant Susan Miller from her station. "No survivors detected." Blackwood nodded once. "Move to the next coordinates. Follow the same protocol." The bridge crew worked quietly. No one questioned his orders. After 15 years of war against the alien coalition, Blackwood had earned his reputation as the most effective military commander in human history. Some called him the Void Reaper. Others used worse names. The massive warship changed course, its engines glowing blue against the blackness of space. Blackwood turned to his executive officer, Alan Reeves. "I'll be in my quarters. Alert me when we reach the Proxima system." "Yes, Commander," Reeves replied, standing straighter when addressed. Blackwood walked through the corridors of his ship. Crew members moved aside and saluted as he passed. He saw the fear in their eyes, the respect. None of them knew him. Not really. That was necessary. Inside his private quarters, Blackwood locked the door and leaned against it. He closed his eyes and took 3 deep breaths. Then he checked the time. He had 4 hours before the next mission. 4 hours to be someone else. He removed his uniform jacket with its rows of medals and combat ribbons. Each one represented a victory, a battle where humans proved themselves more dangerous than anyone had expected. The last medal was from the Alpha Centauri conflict, where Blackwood's strategy had broken the back of the alien coalition's main fleet. After hanging up his uniform, he went to a hidden panel in the wall and pressed his hand against it. The panel slid open, revealing a second, smaller room. As he stepped inside, the lights automatically brightened. This room looked nothing like the rest of the ship. Colorful drawings covered one wall. Small toys sat on shelves. And in the corner, a small bed was neatly made with a pink blanket covered in cartoon princesses. The room was empty. Blackwood frowned and checked another hidden panel. The security system showed no alerts. Then he heard a giggle from under the bed. He got down on his knees and lifted the princess blanket. 2 large purple eyes stared back at him from a blue face. "Found you," Blackwood said, his voice gentle now, completely different from his command voice. The small alien child squealed with delight and crawled out. "You always find me, Papa John." Melix was about 6 years old by human standards. Her skin was light blue, and she had 4 small arms instead of 2. Her species, the Nalari, were considered enemies of humanity. But to Blackwood, she was just a child who needed someone. "Did you finish your lessons?" he asked, sitting on the floor beside her. Melix nodded eagerly. "Ms. Computer taught me about Earth animals today. I like the ones that swim. Fish and whales and sharks." Melix jumped up, making swimming motions with her 4 arms. "Sharks have many teeth like my people, but they're not smart like us." Blackwood smiled. When he was with Melix, he could smile again. "Papa, when can I see a real ocean?" she asked, climbing onto his lap. "Someday," he said, knowing it was probably a lie. A Nalari child could never safely visit Earth, not during this war. "For now, we have the star maps. Want to see where we're going next?" While Melix went to get the holographic star projector, Blackwood thought about the mission ahead. Another attack. Another victory for humanity. More alien lives lost. He wondered what the crew would think if they knew their fearsome commander read bedtime stories to an alien child and kept a princess blanket aboard the most deadly warship humans had ever built. Far away, on the diplomatic station Harmony 7, 12 alien species gathered in secret. They talked about the human threat. They talked about Commander Blackwood. They were afraid. They had no idea that the most feared human in the galaxy was currently playing with star maps with a small Nalari girl, teaching her the names of Earth animals as they traveled to their next battle. Kate Harrison stared out the window of the small transport ship. Space stretched endlessly around her. Ahead loomed the massive shape of the HSS Vengeance, its hull scarred from countless battles. Kate swallowed hard. She never thought she would set foot on that ship. "We're preparing to dock, Dr. Harrison," the pilot called from the front. "Admiral Powell sends her regards." Kate nodded and checked her bag one more time. Inside were her research tools, clothes, and the strange orders that had arrived 3 days ago. She still couldn't believe it. Her, a xenobiologist who studied alien cultures assigned to study Commander John Blackwood himself. The meeting with Admiral Diane Powell played again in her mind. Powell, a stern woman with gray hair and cold eyes, had handed Kate a folder marked Top Secret. "Something's wrong with Blackwood," Powell had said. "His last 3 missions show unusual restraint." "Restraint?" Kate had asked. "I thought, that's a good thing." Powell frowned. "Not when you're fighting a war. Blackwood let an enemy science vessel escape last month. Before that, he refused to bombard a moon base because of insufficient military targets." The Blackwood from 2 years ago wouldn't have hesitated. Kate remembered the news reports from the Alpha Centauri battle. Blackwood had destroyed an entire alien fleet with a brilliant but merciless strategy. They called him the Void Reaper for a reason. "So you want me to, what? Find out if he's losing his edge?" "Find out what's changed," Powell said. "You understand alien psychology better than anyone. Now apply those skills to our most important commander." The transport ship shuddered as it connected to the Vengeance. Kate grabbed her bag and took a deep breath. She had studied many dangerous alien species, but she had never felt this nervous before. When the door opened, a tall man with short hair and a permanent frown waited for her. The name tag on his uniform read, Reeves. "Dr. Harrison," he said, without offering his hand. "I'm Executive Officer Alan Reeves. Welcome to the Vengeance." Kate followed him through the ship. Everywhere, crew members worked with quick efficiency. They all looked serious, focused. This wasn't just any ship. This was Blackwood's ship, where everything ran perfectly, or not at all. "The commander is busy planning our next operation," Reeves said as they walked. "You'll meet him tomorrow at 800. Until then, stay in your quarters, don't wander." "I need to observe him in his natural environment," Kate said. "That's how I work." Reeves stopped walking and turned to her. "This isn't one of your alien studies, Doctor. This is a warship, and Blackwood is not a specimen. Admiral Powell gave me authority to conduct my research as needed." Reeves's jaw tightened. "The Admiral isn't here, I am, and I decide who gets access to the commander." Kate's quarters were small but private. After Reeves left, she sat on the bed and opened her computer. She had files on every mission Blackwood had commanded over the past 15 years. The pattern was clear. For most of his career, Blackwood had been ruthlessly effective. His strategies were brilliant but costly for the enemy. Then, about 3 years ago, small things began to change. Missions that could have ended with total enemy destruction instead left survivors. Civilian targets were increasingly avoided, even when it made military sense to destroy them. Something had happened 3 years ago. Kate just needed to find out what. She was making notes when her door chimed. When she opened it, a young crew member stood there with dinner and a message. "Commander Blackwood says to eat well and rest," the young woman said. "He's looking forward to your meeting." After she left, Kate found a note under the plate. It was handwritten, not printed. "Dr. Harrison, not all is as it seems on this ship. Be careful what you ask and where you ask it. Some secrets are necessary." It was signed simply, Blackwood. Kate spent 3 days on the HSS Vengeance and still hadn't learned anything useful about Commander Blackwood. Every time she tried to speak with him, he was busy with critical operations or in a secure meeting. She saw him once in the ship's mess hall, eating alone while crew members kept their distance. When she approached, he left without a word. Executive Officer Reeves was no help either. He watched her constantly, making sure she stayed away from restricted areas. Kate knew she needed to try something else. She waited until ship's night cycle, when most of the crew slept. Using the security clearance Admiral Powell had given her, Kate slipped out of her quarters. The corridors were nearly empty. A few night shift crew members nodded to her as she passed, but no one questioned her. According to the ship's layout in her datapad, Blackwood's quarters were on Deck A, near the bridge. She headed there, heart beating fast. If she was caught, breaking into the commander's private space, not even Admiral Powell could protect her. Kate reached his door without incident. She held her breath and pressed her security card against the lock. To her surprise, it worked. The door slid open silently, revealing a dark room beyond. Kate stepped inside and closed the door behind her. "Lights, low," she whispered. The room, brightened just enough for her to see. Blackwood's quarters were spotless and plain. A small bed with military corners, a desk with a computer, a closet with identical uniforms hanging in perfect order. Nothing personal. No photos. No books. Nothing. That told her about the man who lived here. "This can't be right," Kate muttered. Even the most dedicated military officer had something personal in their private space. She noticed a seam in the wall that didn't match the others. Kate ran her fingers along it, feeling for a way to open it. When she pressed a certain spot, the hidden door slid aside. Kate gasped at what she found. The hidden room was small but colorful. Drawings covered one wall, trees, stars, and stick figures with blue skin. Shelves held toys and books. Some were clearly not made for humans, with strange shapes and alien writing. Most surprising was the small bed in the corner. On it lay a pink blanket covered with cartoon princesses wearing crowns and sparkly dresses. Kate picked up one of the toys, a soft doll that looked like a blue alien child with 4 arms. Next to the bed sat a human doll with a tiny commander's uniform. "What are you doing in here?" Kate jumped and dropped the doll. Commander Blackwood stood in the doorway, his face hard with anger. He looked more frightening in person than in any of his official photos or news videos. I'm sorry," Kate stammered. "Admiral Powell sent me to—" "I know why Powell sent you," Blackwood interrupted. "What I don't know is why you're in my private quarters without permission." Before Kate could answer, they heard a sound from the air vent in the ceiling. Blackwood's expression changed instantly from anger to concern. "Hide," he whispered urgently. "In the closet, now!" Confused but scared, Kate did as he ordered. Through a crack in the closet door, she watched as Blackwood moved to the air vent and opened it. A small blue face appeared. The alien child had purple eyes and 4 thin arms. She looked scared. "Papa John?" "I heard voices," the child said in perfect English. "It's okay, Melix," Blackwood said gently. "Just me talking to myself again." The alien child, Melix, climbed down into Blackwood's arms. He held her carefully like she was the most precious thing in the universe. "Bad dream again?" he asked. Melix nodded. The loud noises came back. "The ones from before you found me." Blackwood sat on the small bed and wrapped the princess blanket around the alien child. "Those are just memories, Melix. You're safe now." Kate watched in amazement as the galaxy's most feared warlord softly sang a lullaby to an alien child from an enemy species. Nothing in her research had prepared her for this. After Melix fell asleep, Blackwood carefully tucked the princess blanket around her. He motioned for Kate to come out of the closet. They walked quietly into the main room and Blackwood closed the hidden door. "You have an alien child in your quarters," Kate whispered. "A Nalari child." Blackwood's face showed no emotion. "Now, the question is, what will you do with this information?" Kate thought about Admiral Powell and her mission. She should report this immediately. Keeping an enemy alien on a military vessel was against every rule in the book. "How long have you had her?" Kate asked instead. 3 years, 2 months, and 14 days, Blackwood answered precisely. Since the Nalari colony on Proxima B, Kate remembered that mission. Human forces had destroyed a Nalari outpost that was allegedly building weapons. No survivors had been reported. She was hiding in the ruins, Blackwood continued, his voice softer now. Her family was dead. I was doing a final sweep before leaving when I heard her crying. And you just took her? What would you have done? Left her to die? Turned her over to military scientists? Blackwood's eyes were intense. I made a choice. Sat down. trying to process what she was seeing. Commander John Blackwood, the Void Reaper himself, had secretly adopted an alien child. How have you kept her hidden for so long? I have a small network of people I trust. Dr. Patel in medical knows. She treats Melix when needed. Chief Engineer. Luis Martinez helps with the hidden room systems. A few others. Kate looked at the closed panel that hid Melix's room. She called you Papa John. For the first time, Blackwood smiled slightly. She couldn't pronounce Commander. Started calling me Papa John instead. Is that why your tactics have changed? Because of her? Blackwood's smile disappeared. When you raise a child from a species you're fighting, you start to see things differently. The Nalari aren't just targets anymore. They're Melix's people. The door chimed suddenly. Blackwood's face returned to its usual stern expression. Enter, he called. Executive Officer Reeves stepped in and frowned when he saw Kate. Commander, we have a situation. The Arcturus mission has been moved up. Admiral Hoffman needs to speak with you immediately. I'll be right there, Blackwood said. After Reeves left, Blackwood turned to Kate. I need to know what you plan to do. Kate still wasn't sure. Why are you telling me all this? Why not just have me removed from the ship? Because Powell sent you for a reason. She suspects something has changed with me, and she's right. Blackwood looked at the hidden door. Sooner or later, someone will discover Melix. I need to know if you're an enemy or an ally. Before Kate could answer, the ship alarm sounded. A voice came over the speakers. All hands to battle stations. Prepare for enemy engagement. Blackwood straightened, instantly transforming back into the fearsome commander. I have to go. Melix knows to stay hidden during alerts. Dr. Harrison, I'm trusting you with the most important secret in my life. After he left, Kate sat alone in his quarters, thinking. She went to the hidden door and peeked inside. Melix was still sleeping, peacefully under the princess blanket, unaware of the battle about to take place. Kate made her decision. She took out her communicator to contact Admiral Powell, but stopped. Instead, she sent a message to Dr. Patel in medical. I know about Melix, she wrote. Commander Blackwood is on the bridge. I'll stay with her until he returns. A reply came quickly. Thank you. She gets scared during battles. There's a storybook she likes on the shelf. The one with the stars. On the cover. Kate found the book and sat beside the small bed. She would stay until Blackwood returned from doing what he had to do, leading humans to victory while secretly hoping for peace. Outside, the massive weapons of the HSS Vengeance, prepared to fire on an enemy that somewhere on the ship was represented by a sleeping child with a princess blanket. The bridge of the HSS Vengeance hummed with activity. Commander Blackwood stood at the center, studying the large display that showed their target, a Nalari research station orbiting the gas giant Arcturus IV. All weapon systems ready, Commander, reported Lieutenant Miller. Awaiting your order to fire. Blackwood looked at the information scrolling across his screen. Something didn't feel right. The intelligence report claimed this was a weapons research facility, but the energy signatures were wrong. Scan again, he ordered. I want to know exactly what's in that station before we fire. Executive Officer Reeves stepped closer. Sir, our orders are clear. Admiral Hoffman wants this facility destroyed immediately. And I want to be certain of our target, Blackwood replied coldly. We are not in the business of making mistakes, Mr. Reeves. The new scans came in. Blackwood studied them carefully. The station housed laboratories, yes, but also living quarters. Lots of them. This was not just a military target. Sir, Reeves pressed, we need to fire now. The Nalari have detected us. Blackwood made his decision. We will target their defense. Systems only. No direct hits on the main habitat rings. Reeves frowned. That's not what Admiral Hoffman ordered. I am in command of this vessel, Blackwood said, his voice like ice. Target defense systems only. That's an order. As the crew carried out his commands, Blackwood thought of Melix. How many children like her were on that station? How many would become orphans today? Back in the commander's quarters, Kate read to Melix, who who had awakened during the battle alert. The ship shook slightly as the weapons fired. "Is Papa John fighting? The bad people?" Melix asked, her purple eyes wide. Kate wasn't sure how to answer. "He's doing his job." "He doesn't like fighting," Melix said, surprising Kate. "He told me he has to do it, but he wants it to stop." "Does he tell you that often?" Melix nodded. "When he comes back from the bridge, he's always sad. I give him pictures to make him happy again." Kate looked at the drawings on the wall with new understanding. They weren't just a child's artwork. They were Blackwood's reminder of why he needed to find another way. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the ship. Kate grabbed Melix as they tumbled to the floor. The lights flickered and went out. Then emergency lighting came on, bathing everything in red. "What's happening?" Melix cried, clinging to Kate with all four arms. "I don't know," Kate said, trying to sound calm. "But we need to stay here where it's safe." Another explosion hit, stronger than the first. Part of the ceiling collapsed in. The main room and smoke began to fill the air. The hidden door to Melix's room jammed halfway open. "We can't stay here," Kate decided. She grabbed the princess blanket and wrapped it around Melix. "Stay close to me." They left Blackwood's damaged quarters and entered the corridor. Crew members ran past them, putting out fires and helping the injured. Everyone was too busy to notice Kate or the small alien wrapped in a blanket. Kate heard a voice on the ship's speakers, Blackwood's voice. "All hands, this is the commander. We've been hit by a surprise attack from a cloaked Nalari warship. Engineering and medical. Need all available personnel. This is not a drill." Kate needed to get Melix somewhere safe, but where? The entire ship was in danger. She decided to head toward medical. Dr. Patel would know what to do. As they turned a corner, they ran directly into Executive Officer Reeves. His eyes widened at the sight of Melix. "What is that?" he demanded, reaching for his weapon. "Is that a Nalari?" Kate stepped in front of Melix protectively. "Mr. Reeves, I can explain. That's an enemy alien on a human warship during battle," Reeves said, his voice rising. "This is treason." Before Kate could respond, another explosion rocked the ship. The corridor wall beside them burst open, sending debris flying everywhere. Kate felt something hit her head and then everything went black. Kate woke up in the medical bay. Her head hurt, and bright lights made her squint. She tried to sit up quickly. "Melix," she called out. "Where's Melix?" Dr. Patel, a woman with dark hair pulled back in a tight bun, pushed her gently back down. "Lie still. You have a concussion?" "But Melix is safe," Dr. Patel said quietly. "For now." Kate remembered Reeves discovering them in the corridor. Then the explosion. Reeves saw her. "He knows." Dr. Patel nodded grimly. "Everyone knows now. The explosion threw you both into a crowded area. At least 20 crew members saw Melix." Kate closed her eyes. Blackwood's secret was out. "Where is the commander?" "Still on the bridge. We took heavy damage in the attack. He's trying to save the ship." Dr. Patel checked Kate's head wound. "Melix is in my office. I locked the door, but people are asking questions. Word spreads fast." The medical bay doors slid open. Commander Blackwood walked in, his uniform torn and dirty. His face showed no emotion, but Kate could see the worry in his eyes. "Dr. Harrison," he said formally. "I'm glad you're awake." "Commander," Kate replied. "I'm sorry. We had to leave. Your quarters after the explosion." Blackwood nodded once. "You did what was necessary. Where is she?" Dr. Patel pointed to her office. "She's scared, John. She keeps asking for you." Blackwood walked to the office door and unlocked it. When he entered, Kate heard a small cry of relief. When he came out, Melix was in his arms, wrapped in the princess blanket. She clung to him tightly. The medical bay had grown quiet. Everyone stared at the fearsome commander holding an alien child. Some looked confused, others angry. A few seemed simply curious. "Yes, this is a Nalari child," Blackwood announced to the room. "Her name is Melix. I found her 3 years ago and made the decision to save her life rather than end it. That decision was mine alone." A medical technician stepped forward. "Sir, she's an enemy alien. The Nalari killed my brother at Alpha Centauri. And humans killed her parents, Blackwood replied calmly. Yet here she is, not hating us. Perhaps we could learn from that. The ship's intercom came on. Commander Blackwood to the bridge immediately. Urgent message from Admiral Hoffman. Blackwood looked at Kate. I need to go. Will you watch her? Before Kate could answer, Melix spoke up. I want to go with you, Papa John. I'm not scared. The crew members watched silently as Blackwood considered this. Finally, he nodded. Very well, it's time everyone knew the truth anyway. On the bridge, officers turned to stare as Blackwood entered with Melix in his arms. Executive Officer Reeves looked furious. Commander, Admiral Hoffman is waiting, Reeves said pointedly, glaring at Melix. Blackwood sat in his command chair with Melix on his lap. Put him on screen. Admiral Hoffman's face appeared on the large display. His expression changed from stern to shocked when he saw the alien child. Blackwood, what in God's name is that? Hoffman demanded. This is Melix, Blackwood said calmly. A Nalari child I rescued 3 years ago. She's the reason I refused to destroy the civilian sections of the research station. You directly disobeyed orders, Hoffman shouted. And you've been harboring an enemy alien? This is treason. No, sir, Blackwood said. This is humanity, the part we've forgotten during this war. Hoffman's face reddened. You are relieved of... Command effective immediately. Executive Officer Reeves will take control of the Vengeance. You will return to Earth for court-martial. With respect, Admiral, Blackwood said. Before you remove me, you should know that news of Melix has already spread through the ship, and I've sent her story to several news outlets on Earth. Kate, who had followed them to the bridge, watched as Blackwood pulled out his final card. The story of how the most feared human commander adopts an alien child will be everywhere by tomorrow, Blackwood continued. What do you think that will do to public opinion about this war? Admiral Hoffman's face on the screen turned purple with rage. You're bluffing, Blackwood. You wouldn't risk everything for this alien. Look at her, Admiral, Blackwood said, adjusting the princess blanket around Melix's shoulders. She's a child. Not a weapon, not an enemy, just a child. Melix looked up at the angry face on the screen. She wasn't afraid. She had lived with humans long enough to understand their expressions. Why are you mad at Papa John? She asked in perfect English. He saves people. He saved me. The bridge fell silent. Even Reeves seemed stunned by the alien child speaking, directly to an admiral. Hoffman's eyes widened. It speaks our language. She, Blackwood corrected. And yes, she speaks English, along with her native Nalari. She's very intelligent. Kate stepped forward. Admiral, if I may, I was sent to investigate Commander Blackwood's changing behavior. Now I understand it. Raising Melix has given him perspective that we've been missing in this war. Perspective? Hoffman snapped. We're fighting for humanity's survival. Are we? Kate challenged. The Nalari research station Blackwood refused to destroy wasn't developing weapons. My analysis of the scans shows they were studying communication technologies. Lieutenant Miller, who had been monitoring communications, suddenly spoke up. Sir, incoming transmission from Earth. Multiple news networks are running a story about a human commander who saved an alien child. They're showing images of Commander Blackwood and Melix. Blackwood nodded. I had friends ready to release the story, if anything happened to us. Hoffman's face twisted with anger. This changes nothing. You'll still face court-martial when you return. Maybe, Blackwood agreed. But first I'd like to make one more transmission. Before Hoffman could object, Blackwood ordered, Open a channel to the Nalari flagship, the one that attacked us. The crew looked shocked, but Miller followed the order. The screen split, showing Hoffman on one side and a blue-skinned Nalari commander on the other. The Nalari's forearms moved in signs of aggression until he saw Melix sitting on Blackwood's lap. What is this? The Nalari commander demanded in his own language. Melix answered in perfect Nalari. The alien commander's expression changed from anger to disbelief. What is she saying? Kate whispered to Dr. Patel, who had followed them to the bridge. She's telling him her story. Dr. Patel translated quietly. How Blackwood found her and raised her. how he taught her about both human and Nalari cultures. When Melix finished speaking, the Nalari commander stared at Blackwood for a long moment. "You are the one they call Void Reaper," he said finally in broken English. "The killer of thousands." "I am," Blackwood admitted. "And you are Commander Zexitalik, destroyer of the Proxima colonies." "Yet you saved Nalari, child," Zexitalik said, confusion clear in his voice. "Because it was right," Blackwood replied simply. "Just as it would be right for us to stop killing each other's children." Admiral Hoffman tried to interrupt. "Blackwood, you are not authorized to—" "I propose a meeting," Blackwood continued, ignoring Hoffman. "No weapons, just talk. For Melix's sake and for all the children, human and Nalari alike." The Nalari commander's large eyes blinked slowly. "Where?" "The neutral space station Concordia." 3 days from now." Zexitalik was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded once. "I will come. For the child." The transmission ended. Admiral Hoffman looked as if he might explode. "You have no authority to arrange peace talks. This is beyond insubordination." Blackwood stood up, still holding Melix. "Then arrest me, Admiral. But remember, the galaxy is watching now. They've seen a human commander with an alien child he calls his daughter. They've heard her call me Papa John. Whatever happens next, that image won't go away." Kate watched as the crew of the bridge, one by one, stood up in silent support of their commander. Even Executive Officer Reeves, who had opposed Blackwood, seemed uncertain now. Admiral Hoffman cut the transmission without another word. Blackwood looked down at Melix. "Well, little one, I think we just started something big." Melix smiled and hugged him with all 4 arms. "Can I wear my princess blanket to the meeting?" Space Station Concordia hung like a silver wheel against the blackness of space. Ships from both sides gathered at a safe distance, human vessels to the left, Nalari to the right. In the middle, one ship approached the station, the HSS Vengeance. Despite Admiral Hoffman's threats, Blackwood had not been removed from command. The story of Melix had spread across Earth and human colonies faster than anyone expected. People were tired of war. The image of the fearsome Commander Blackwood with an alien child wrapped in a princess blanket had become a symbol of hope. Inside the main conference room of Concordia Station, Blackwood waited with Kate and Melix. The little alien wore her best clothes and, as she had requested, her princess blanket was draped over her shoulders like a cape. "Are you nervous?" Kate asked Blackwood quietly. "First time for everything," he admitted. "I've spent 15 years fighting the Nalari. Never thought I'd be the one to make peace with them." The doors slid open. Commander Zexitalik entered, followed by 3 other Nalari officials. They stopped when they saw Melix. Melix looked up at Blackwood. He nodded encouragingly. She walked forward and spoke in the musical language of the Nalari. Then she switched to English. "I am Melix. My Nalari family died in the war. Commander John Blackwood became my new father. He taught me that humans can be kind. I want to help you understand each other." The Nalari commander knelt down to her level. "You speak well, little one. Your birth parents would be proud. Papa John keeps pictures of them for me," Melix said. "He says I should never forget where I came from." Zexitalik looked up at Blackwood with new respect. The meeting began with Melix helping when translation became difficult. Hours passed as both sides shared their views of the conflict. Old hatred and fresh grief made the talks difficult. Twice, delegates nearly walked out. But each time, the sight of Melix, half human in her ways now but still Nalari, kept them at the table. Late in the day, alarms suddenly blared. A security officer rushed in. "Ships approaching from both sides. They're not responding to hails." Blackwood and Zexitalik moved to the window. Military vessels from both fleets were breaking formation, heading toward Concordia. "Hardliners," Zexitalik said grimly. "Those who want the war to continue." "On both sides," Blackwood agreed. "They're going to attack the station to stop the peace talks." The security officer looked panicked. "Station defenses can't stop that many ships. Blackwood tapped his communicator. Vengeance, this is Commander Blackwood. Move to defend Concordia Station. Target engines only. We need to buy time. Zextalik gave similar orders to his flagship. The two warships that had led the fight against each other for years now moved side by side to protect the peace talks. In the chaos that followed, Melix slipped away from Kate. While the adults argued about what to do, she walked to the station's communication center. The staff was too busy to notice one small alien child. Using what Papa John had taught her about computers, she accessed the main broadcast system. Suddenly, every screen on every ship and on the station showed Melix's face, her princess blanket visible around her shoulders. "Stop fighting," she said simply in both English and Nalari. "My first family died because you couldn't stop fighting. My new father tried to save me from that. Now I'm trying to save all of you." Her words froze everyone. On the attacking ships, soldiers and pilots saw the child their leaders told them didn't matter. Slowly, the attacking ships powered down their weapons. The immediate danger passed. When Blackwood found Melix in the communication center, he didn't scold her for wandering off. He just picked her up and held her tight. "You did good, little one," he whispered. "Did I help make peace, Papa John?" she asked. "You did more than that," he said, watching as human and Nalari ships withdrew. "You reminded us what we're really fighting for." 1 month later, the HSS Vengeance received new orders. It would no longer be a warship. Instead, it would become a diplomatic vessel with Commander Blackwood, Dr. Harrison, and one small alien ambassador who still slept with a princess blanket leading the way toward lasting peace.